This is the Camel Connection podcast.
Welcome to our weekly Camel Q&A.
This is where you ask a camel question and we answer it.
I'm Tara.
And I'm Russell. And together, with other camel experts, we answer your camel questions.
Welcome to our very first Camel Q&A. Tara here.
Hi, it's Russell here.
And we're so excited to bring this new segment to you because, let's face it, every other day we get a question about camels and it's hard to answer all of them because, we've got a family and business to run. But this alone, this podcast segment about Camel Q&A is exactly for these kind of questions.
Oh, well, here we go.
Yes. Would you like to read our first camel question?
Okay, well, this is a question from a chap named Bryce. And Bryce wants to trek with camels through Central Asia. And his question is, what is the best camel training method or course to learn basic skills needed for camels to travel? i.e. tracking with camels, and the costs. It's a really good question, and look, we've all been exactly where you are starting. None of us are born with the knowledge or skills, if you like, with anything. We've all got to learn, and this is certainly the case with camels. I distinctly remember when I was starting to investigate how to go about all this with camels many moons ago. And there was a lot of confusion. I think it's the best word. There didn't seem to be any sort of structure to anything.
Yet everybody wanted an opinion about it.
Yeah, and
the opinions are many.
There's heaps of them, and you can listen to all sorts of people. I even listen to horse people who are training horses. I listened to cattlemen because that was the circle of influence that I had at the time. And none of it seemed to gel with me at all. And knowing now that, a camel is a camel. It's not a horse. It's not a dog. It's not a, goldfish. And it requires certain requirements in training. And I was lucky enough to find a mentor who was doing exactly what I wanted to do, and that was tracking. Okay.
In other words, he was doing what you wanted to do.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense to listen to somebody who has done it.
Well, yeah,
or is doing it.
Look, I've always said, if you want to be a swimmer, don't listen to a tennis player. And with camels, you want to train camels and you want to track with camels. Well, my recommendation is that you find someone who tracks with camels and also trains camels, and that being from the word go, from very beginnings of actually getting a camel and training it for tracking.
Those type of people are very few and far between, because we know a lot of people that trek with camels but they're not experienced with training camels.
Oh, that's true too.
Or people would be training camels but they're not experienced with trekking camels. And we've had clients that have attempted their own treks, but they got advice from how to do a trek just from someone who just trains camels, which it doesn't quite work like that. You've really got to have expedition skills or camel trekking skills specifically for camel treks is completely different to if you were going out backpacking for a weekend or a week or even a couple of months. Like, you've got to think about other animals. You've got to know how to tie them to things or when to let them feed and what to feed them, blah, blah, blah. So it's a very complex thing. And for you, Bryce, particularly, and anybody listening, that if you do want to do your own camel trek / expeditions, we've got a very in-depth online course. We've made it available online because it's more possible for people that way, which is our Camel Expedition course, training course basically. And we actually filmed it live in person when we did a live expedition training course many years ago now. So you get very in-depth information about the equipment you need, how we pack the camels, how to even manage the weights on the camels, safety procedures, how to tie camels, feeding camels.
management of them as
managing
well.
camels.
How to walk with them too, because that's a big thing, you know. Yeah, look, I mean, you know, one thing that I wanted to do when I finished my 2-year trek across Australia after the 13 years of planning and preparation, and I didn't want people to have to go through 13 years.
Yeah, it's painful.
That was a big thing.
You learnt the hard way, so you're willing to pass it on.
I certainly did. And, you know, but I was prepared to say to myself, you know, I'm not going to go out there into the middle of bugger all out there in the desert without being prepared. And that was a big thing because I wanted to get out of the desert on the other side safely.
So, yeah, you had a purpose on the other side.
Yeah,
you didn't go out to the desert
It was called
going...
life, the rest of my life.
Yeah,
that was what it was called. And that's how come I took that 13 years. Well, there's many other reasons as well, but I mean, that was certainly a major part. And I'm so glad that I did that, because it meant that, you know, when we put together that expedition course and also the training courses, all the fine details could be put into those courses, which makes a huge difference.
And that was filmed after you've done numerous camel treks.
Afterwards, yeah.
And also your big expedition, which was, you know, how many kilometres?
6,500.
Yeah, a long way. So for anybody, and you, Bryce, considering walking with camels, travelling with camels, definitely get hold of our expedition course. I think it's currently at $97 AUD, but that price can change. So do go to camelshop.com.au and check out that price of that. And complimentary to that, definitely, I mean, if you're going to start anywhere, even before the expedition course, get our online camel training course, because that will give you a very in-depth understanding of how a camel thinks and where you can go from there. Because
Absolutely.
A lot of people come to our courses. Well, if you can come to an in-person course, that's even better.
Where's Bryce from? Does he say?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No. But a lot of people who come to our in-person courses, they come with an idea. They don't have camels. They're not planning on buying any, but they have a camel idea.
Which is excellent that you've just mentioned that, because I've jotted down some points for a really, really cool podcast.
Okay, in another episode.
Yeah.
And after they've finished our courses, it's like the heavens have opened and the idea is 100% clear to them what they want to do with camels, how they want to travel, how they want to structure that travel, whether they go for an entire year, a couple of months, weekends, or what have you. They suddenly realise what's involved.
Absolutely. And look, I mean, you know, these courses that we've designed, I mean, coming from an education background, I was teaching for 15 years before jumping into the camel scene. Structure is key to education
and the
courses.
best kind of learning. Not here's a bit of dilly-dally.
You cannot go ahead and, for example, become a doctor without structure in a course. Okay, you go to university for 6 years to learn that skill.
And you learn quicker when there's structure too.
Absolutely, and it all makes sense. And that's why we start from the very beginning, because that's the very best place to start. And even if you've been with a few camels, you know... and we do the same thing. I mean, you know, any camels that come our way, even if we buy them as trained camels, you know what we do, Bryce? We actually start from the very beginning with those camels, because we want those camels to get to know us and we want to get to know who that camel is as well. It makes a big difference in the long term.
Absolutely. And so our first suggestion is definitely go and get our online camel training course. That is the best place to start. Yeah. It really is. You get an understanding of who the camel is, how they think, what's possible for you and them. And the second one is if you are convinced that, yes, this is something you want to do, get hold of the expedition course, which is also at our camel shop.
Yep.
And then thirdly, I would also recommend observing camels, hanging out with camels, or getting in touch with other camel people and see if you can just observe, because you will learn a lot just from observing, but do it in a way with an open mind, because you might see things you like and you might see things you don't like, but just know there's always another way.
Absolutely.
So that's my suggestion. Do you have anything to add to that?
I have. Bryce, get in contact with us. Okay. And we can set up a Skype session with you. all right, to, basically put you at the beginning parts, okay, and get your structure happening so that we understand where you're coming from, what your position is right at this moment, and where we can go from there to help you. Because one of the things
that's Bryce, and anybody who's really serious about doing this, we're happy to consult with you.
Absolutely, because one of the things that we do offer, apart from the initial contact that you'd make like that, you can actually be coached. Okay, we do have a coaching platform as well,
mentoring,
which you can grab a hold of. But those courses, for someone who's very serious about doing their dream, that's what it's all been designed for. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing.
And lastly, it takes time,
Yeah.
Sometimes things won't go quite to plan as you expected, and it will take longer than what you expected.
Life sometimes gets in the way too.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Well, Bryce, and anybody else who's interested in Camel Expedition, you know your steps. You can go to our camel shop over at camelconnection.com, get hold of the online course, the expedition course, hang around some camels, and if you're really serious, you can reach out to us and we can personally mentor you through all the steps that's necessary to make this dream possible.
That's it. And if you actually do live in Australia and you're somewhere down, or you want to come down to the Lakes Entrance down here in Victoria, we do have clinics down here for personal, on hand, hands-on, I should say, hands-on sessions, so that everything is crystal clear to you when you leave.
Mm-hmm. We've had people from all over the world join, Israel, Kuwait, people coming over with an idea and they want to get clear on that idea.
Absolutely.
Camel idea.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we hope that's helped you guys so much with your camel expedition dreams and goals, and we look forward to catching you on the next episode.
Q&A, bring it on.
Bye.
See ya. If you found this Camel Q&A helpful, please let us know. Leave a review wherever you're listening from.
Do you have a camel question for us? Head over to camelconnection.com to ask your camel question now.